أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي لم يتخذ ولدا ولم يكن له شريك في الملك ولم يكن له ولي من ذل وكبره تكبيرا. With the permission of the brothers and the elders, I humbly try to talk to you today very briefly about ikhlas or sincerity, inshallah. But first, قال الله تعالى في كتاب الكريم وقال الرسول يا رب إن قومي أتخذ هذا القرآن محجورا. And the messenger will say, my Lord, my people have abandoned this Quran. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whose knowledge transcends time and space, saying that Hadrat Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam will say on Judgment Day that inna qawmi, my people, that's us, have abandoned the Quran. This is the Prophet's observation of his people from time he died till his resurrection. Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, read the Quran in 1 month. That means about 20 pages of an Osmani Quran of 640 pages per day. That can take 45 to 60 minutes. Best to spread it during the day. I'm going to stick my neck out and say, if non-Arab, please read in your own language so you understand its meanings, as well as Arabic. And try different translations, as with respect to translators, exact meanings are ultimately lost in translation. Now I'm going to say a few words about ikhlas, literally meaning sincerity, or moment of truth, or moment of sincerity. Now we know from the devil, as quoted in the Quran, that قَالَ الرَّبِّ بِمَا أَغْوَيْتَنِي لَأُزَيَّنَّ لَهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَلَأَغْوِيَنَّهُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. Iblis says, my Lord, because you have put me in error, I will surely make disobedience attractive to them on earth, and I will mislead them all. إِلَّا عِبَادَكَ مِنْهُمَ الْمُخْلَصِينَ, except for your sincere servants amongst them. So the devil says, I will mislead them all except عِبَادَكَ مِنْهُمَ الْمُخْلَصِينَ. The devil doesn't say Muslims, Christians, Jews, etc. He says, إِلَّا عِبَادَكَ مِنْهُمَ الْمُخْلَصِينَ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is quoting him. Who are these mukhlisin? There are, within the time constraint of this short talk, I don't want it to be more than 7-8 minutes, there are a number of main ways to reach ikhlas. There is the quick way and the long way. There is other ways, but there is mainly 2 ways. The shortcut to the height of faith or ikhlas, the moment of truth, has universal membership. Don't need to pray, fast, go to Hajj or pay zakat. One way to get there is, it's a moment when the Quran says, بَلَغَتْ قُلُوبَ الْحَنَاجِرِ. The meaning is, heart reaches the throat. But at that moment, it might be too late, as it's game over in this life for most. Now you say, what does that mean? For example, when as a result of life pressures, all doors close, doesn't matter you're Muslim or not, all doors close, and your heart reaches your throat. Literally meaning you speak directly from your heart. The moment of truth. No politics, no consideration, no errors. The veils get lifted and you see the truth crisp and clear. What are the examples in the Quran of Balagat Qulub al-Hanajir? Is there a more telling example than the Pharaoh? حتى إذا أدركه الغرق قال آمنت أنه لا إله إلا الذي آمنت به بنو إسرائيل وأنا من المسلمين. When the Pharaoh says, when he was about to drown, he said, I believe that there is no God except the one the children of Israel believe in. And I am of those who submit. من المسلمين. I am a Muslim. الآن وقد أسيت قبل وكنت من المفسدين. Now, Allah says to him, when you have rebelled before and have been of the mischief maker. So at that moment, the Pharaoh, with all his power, his army, standing up, calling himself God, standing to Moses and the Bani Israel and all the miracles of Moses. At that moment when he's about to drown and he knows there is no way back, he sees the truth. That's called the moment of ikhlas. That moment, that zone is called the moment of ikhlas. And who is more, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His grace, who is more powerful than the Pharaoh? At that moment, he realized the truth. Another example. فألقي السحرة Can you help me? فألقي السحرة سجدا قالوا آمنا برب هارون وموسى. This is the magicians. The magicians bowed down in prostration, saying, we believe in the Lord of Moses and Aaron. We all know the story. What happened is when the Pharaoh, when the Moses drops the asa, the stick, and it turns into a snake, Sa'ban, then the Pharaoh asks all the magicians, and at that time magic was prevalent in Egypt. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through Moses alayhi salam wants to break that hold of the magicians. And it is said in Revelations that there were 10,000. I've read that there could have been up to 10,000 magicians who prepared the trick for the day when they stood up against Moses and Aaron alayhi salam. And they prepared. And when they prepared all the trickery, and Moses just drops his stick and it turns into Sa'ban, the magicians know that at that moment, that's the truth. That's the moment of truth. Even though in the morning they were magicians and bound to go to hell, in the evening they died because apparently Pharaoh killed them. They became martyrs. So at that moment, from kufr, absolute kufr, they become mukhlis. They saw ikhlas. They saw the truth. At that moment, that zone, they became mukhlis. And they died a martyr. So that is what the devil calls إِلَّا إِبَادَكْ مِنْهُمُ الْمُخْلَصِينَ. Now the longer way, who are these sincere people? These people are truly free from temptation of the devil and his jund, army. The prominent characteristic of the mukhlisin is that while at the state of ikhlas, they become impervious to the devil's influences, immune from the devil. As the devil has said, he cannot touch them. Is that not a special power? This is reached the long way by Jihad Akbar, or war with the nafs, oneself, wisdom and faith, as I have read from some ulama. So this is what they say. But it is for you to find out, because nobody is talking about this ikhlas, this zone. Almost finished. Also, about 30 years ago, it shows my age, I met a 15, 16-year-old boy who had reached ikhlas. He was in the zone of ikhlas. And believe me, I don't think he had even read the Quran once properly. He was only 15, 16. Why? Because he was on Sarat al-Mustaqim. He was a mujahid. I met a 15, 16-year-old mujahid doing jihad. And he had balagat qulub al-hanajir. And I will never forget him. May Allah bless him if he's still alive. Just wanted to raise the question in the minds of those who are not aware of the state of this state of faith, this zone or ikhlas. It is a different kind of yaqeen. You see, there is Muslim, there is mu'min, there is muttaqi, and there is ahl yaqeen. Ikhlas is a different level of iman, subhanallah. It is said, ahl ikhlas don't do their actions because of reward of heaven or reward of heaven. They do it because it's haqq. It's the truth. And the reward is to just please Allah Jalla Jalala. That is what they're after. Please look into it further. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.